The rescue ship Horizon Dawn drifted through the burnt orange clouds of a dying planet. The air shimmered with radiation storms and the sensors screamed warnings that no life could survive down there. But the human commander, Eli Ward, wasn't listening to the sensors. He had seen something impossible. Through the cracked glass of his helmet, Eli stared at the screen again. A faint life signal blinked on the scanner, weak, fading, but alive. "Captain, that's not human," said his co-pilot, Dr. Lyra Voss, her voice tight. "I know," Eli said quietly. "That's why I'm going down." Moments later, the ship's hatch opened to the burning wind. Eli stepped out, his boots sinking into dust that looked like ashes. The landscape was littered with wreckage, metal bones of ships, smoke rising from forgotten wars. And then he saw her, a small figure crouched beside a broken wall. Her skin glowed faintly, silver blue under the dim light. Her arms were wrapped around herself like she was trying to disappear. Eli approached slowly. "Hey, it's okay. I'm human. I'm not going to hurt you." The figure flinched. Her voice came out as a trembling whisper, soft and strange. "Don't come close." Her language was alien, but his translator caught enough of it to understand. Eli stopped. The air between them seemed to freeze. She turned her head slowly, revealing large liquid eyes, almost human but not. Her face was half covered with a dirty cloth tied tightly over her mouth and neck. The fabric was burned and stained with something dark. "I'm not clean," she whispered again. "You can't touch me," Eli frowned. "Infected?" She shook her head. "Not quite yes, not quite no. Please, don't make me show you." Behind her, lightning cracked across the sky. The sound rolled like a dying roar. Eli took a careful step closer, lowering his weapon. "What's your name?" he asked. She hesitated. "I don't remember. They called me Specimen 13. The words hit Eli like ice. The rumors were true then. The alien experiments, the genetic labs that had vanished when the galactic war ended. This girl, or whatever she was, might be the last survivor of something the galaxy wanted to forget. He reached for his comm. "Lyra, I found someone. She's—" Before he could finish, the girl gasped, her glowing skin dimming like a dying star. She collapsed to her knees, clutching her chest. Eli rushed forward instinctively and caught her before she hit the ground. Her hands trembled against his suit. "No, I told you! I'm not clean!" Her voice broke, almost like a sob. Eli held her up. "You're safe now. I won't let anything happen to you." But as he said it, his helmet scanner flashed a warning. Unknown biological signature detected. Something alien and powerful pulsed through the girl's body. She looked up at him, tears forming in her silver eyes. "They put something inside me," she whispered. "Something that kills everything it touches." For a long moment, Eli couldn't speak. The wind howled around them and thunder rolled across the dead sky. Then with shaking hands, he reached up and pulled the dirty cloth from her face. It fell slowly, like a feather drifting to the ground. And when it did, Eli's heart stopped. Her skin beneath the cloth shimmered like light through water. Veins of glowing metal pulsed just beneath the surface, moving like living circuits. Her mouth, small and trembling, glowed faintly blue. And where her tears touched Eli's glove, the material sizzled as if burned by acid. She looked at him with fear and shame. "I told you," she whispered again, voice breaking. "I'm not clean." Eli stared, his breath caught between horror and awe. She wasn't infected, and she was engineered. Something between life and machine. Something beautiful and terrifying. And in that moment, Eli realized something worse than danger. He realized he wanted to save her. The wind grew louder, swirling around them like a storm waking up. Somewhere above, the Horizon Dawn's sensors began to flash red. A transmission came through, urgent and sharp. "Captain Ward, get out of there. Now! That thing isn't a survivor, it's a weapon." But Eli didn't move. He just held the trembling girl as she whispered the same words over and over. "I'm not clean. I'm not clean." And far above them, something ancient woke up in the clouds. The storm outside screamed like a dying creature as Captain Eli carried the alien girl into the Horizon Dawn. His arms shook under her strange weight. She felt light, but every touch of her skin burned cold through his gloves. The moment he crossed the airlock, the doors slammed shut, sealing them from the deadly air outside. Dr. Lyra Voss was waiting, eyes wide with disbelief. "Eli, what did you bring aboard?" "Sensors are going crazy." "She's alive," Eli said. lowering the girl gently onto the medbed. And she needs help. Lyra hesitated, her gaze fixed on the girl's glowing veins. That's not alive, Eli, that's a weapon. Look at her. The girl flinched, curling up as if the light around her hurt her own eyes. Please, and don't send me back, she whispered. Her voice was so small, so scared that even Lyra's anger softened for a moment. Eli knelt beside her, removing his helmet. No one's sending you anywhere. You're safe here. But the ship didn't seem to agree. Red warning lights flickered above them. Unknown organism detected. Containment breach risk. High. Lyra grabbed a scanner. Her energy levels are unstable. They're not just biological, Eli. It's like she's broadcasting something. Eli frowned. Broadcasting? Yes, Lyra said, her voice low. Her blood is sending out a signal. Like a beacon. The girl's eyes fluttered open. They will come, she said weakly. The ones who made me. They always come when they hear the signal. Who are they? Eli asked. But before she could answer, the ship trembled, a deep vibration that rattled every wall. The scanners screamed again, multiple signatures approaching fast. Lyra's face went pale. Ships, hundreds of them. They're locking onto us. Eli looked down at the girl. Her silver eyes glowed brighter with fear. I told you, she whispered. You shouldn't have touched me. They can find me now. Outside the viewport, lights appeared in the storm. Dark shapes breaking through the clouds. Not ships of the Republic. Not human. Something older. Something built for hunting. Eli pressed the comm. Horizon Control, this is Captain Ward. We have contact with unknown vessels requesting extraction. The signal cut out. Static. Then silence. They're jamming us, Lyra muttered. We're on our own. The girl sat up suddenly, clutching her chest. Her veins flared brighter, pulsing like electricity through water. Please let me go, she said. If I leave, they'll stop chasing you. Eli stepped forward. No, I'm not abandoning you. You don't understand, she cried. I'm their weapon. I destroy everything near me. My blood, it's made to burn worlds. Her voice cracked, full of guilt and terror. Eli's expression hardened. You didn't choose that. Whatever they made you for, you're not their weapon anymore. Lyra turned on him. Eli, listen to yourself. You're risking the ship for her. We don't even know what she is. He looked at her, his voice calm but firm. Then we'll find out. He turned back to the girl. What's your real name? She hesitated. They erased it. But before the lab, I was called Asha. It means light. The name hung in the air, soft and fragile. Eli smiled faintly. Then you're Asha, and we're not leaving you behind. For a moment, her glowing eyes met his. Something inside her seemed to calm, the light pulsing slower, steadier. But then the ship shuddered again, louder this time. Lyra checked the scanner. They've surrounded us. If we stay here, we're dead. Eli thought fast. Can we go into the upper atmosphere? Barely. The engines are weak and the radiation will fry the shields. Do it anyway, Eli ordered. We need time. The Horizon Dawn roared upward, its engines howling against the storm. Fire and lightning wrapped around the hull as it broke through the cloud barrier. Inside, alarms blared. Systems overloaded, and in the middle of it, Asha's body began to glow brighter. Too bright. Lyra shielded her eyes. She's overloading. Eli, she's going to explode. But Asha didn't scream. Instead, she whispered again, the same trembling words that haunted Eli since he found her. I'm not clean. I'm not clean. Then the ship's lights flickered, died, and something incredible happened. Her energy pulsed outward, but instead of destroying the ship, it wrapped around it like a shield. The enemy beam struck the energy field and bounced away. Lyra gasped. She's protecting us, Eli stared, stunned. She's controlling it. Asha's voice was faint but clear. I can hold them, but not for long. Outside, the alien fleet regrouped, circling like wolves. Inside, the girl who called herself unclean was saving them. And for the first time, Eli understood. She wasn't just a weapon. She was the key to something far greater, something the galaxy had feared for centuries. The Horizon Dawn groaned as it climbed higher through the red clouds. Alarms screamed from every panel, and the hull glowed from the heat of the alien beams outside. Yet somehow the ship was still flying, wrapped in Asha's strange light. Inside, silence filled the control room except for the soft hum of energy. Asha sat in the corner, eyes half closed, her body glowing faintly blue. The light around her flickered like a living shield, pulsing in rhythm with her heartbeat. Dr. Lyra Voss watched from behind a scanner. "This is impossible," she whispered. "That energy should have vaporized us. Instead, it's protecting us." Eli stood beside her, jaw tight. "So she saved us again." "Or she trapped us," Lyra said coldly. "We don't know her limits. What if she decides to stop protecting us?" Eli glanced toward Asha. The alien girl looked fragile, exhausted, trembling with every breath. She wasn't a monster, he thought. She looked more human than anyone he'd ever met. When Asha opened her eyes, they were filled with quiet sadness. "You should listen to her," she said softly. "I don't control it. The power moves on its own. Sometimes it obeys. Sometimes it doesn't." Lyra frowned. "Then how did you create that shield?" Asha hesitated. "It's not a shield. It's part of me. My creators built it inside my blood. They said I could burn stars if they told me to." Eli froze. "Burn stars?" Asha nodded. "They called it the Celion Core. They said I was made from the heart of a dying sun." The words hung in the air like a curse. Eli felt a chill crawl down his spine. "You're telling me your body contains stellar energy," Lyra finished, her voice trembling. "That's not a weapon, Eli, that's extinction." Asha looked down at her hands. "That's why they hunted me. They wanted to use me to end wars. But when I refused, they locked me in the lab. They said I wasn't clean enough for their new world." Her voice broke on the last words. Eli saw the tears in her eyes. Tiny drops of liquid light falling down her glowing skin. Lyra whispered, "What does that mean? Not clean enough?" Asha took a long, shaking breath. "They mixed human DNA in me. I wasn't pure like the others. I was a mistake." The room fell silent. Eli's heart tightened. "Human DNA?" "Yes," she said quietly. "From someone named Dr. Elias Ward." Lyra turned to Eli, her eyes wide. "Eli, that's you." The world seemed to stop moving. Eli stared at her, his mind refusing to understand. "That's impossible." "I never—" Asha's soft voice cut him off. "They took it from you long ago. Your blood was used in the war projects. I was born from that. Half human, half Celian. That's why I feel connected to you." Eli stumbled back, gripping the control panel for balance. The truth hit him like a blow. He wasn't just her rescuer. In some twisted way, he was her creator. Lyra whispered, "Oh my God." "Eli, she's part of you." Before Eli could speak, the ship trembled again. The alarms flared red. "They found us," Lyra shouted. "The shield's failing." Asha's glow flickered weakly. "I can't hold it anymore. It's draining me." Eli moved toward her. "Then don't, you've done enough." But she shook her head. "If I stop, they'll destroy us." Her hands began to shake violently, the light around her surging brighter, hotter. Sparks danced through the air like tiny suns. Lyra grabbed Eli's arm. "She's going to overload." Eli turned to Asha. "Listen to me, you're not alone this time. We'll find another way." Asha looked up at him, tears in her glowing eyes. "You don't understand, Eli. When I die, the core will explode. You have to eject me before that happens." He shook his head fiercely. "No, I'm not losing you." "You already lost me," she whispered sadly. "You lost me the moment they made me from you." Suddenly, the scanners went wild, detecting something huge approaching from the storm below. Lyra gasped. "Eli, it's not a ship. It's a construct the size of a moon." Through the viewing glass, a monstrous shadow rose from the clouds, a machine shaped like a giant with glowing red eyes and wings of metal stretching miles across the sky. Asha's face turned pale. "That's them. The harvesters. They've come to take the core back." Eli stood frozen, heart pounding. "Then they'll have to go through me first." He reached for the ship's controls, setting a course straight toward the storm. Lyra stared at him like he was insane. "Eli, what are you doing?" "Finishing what they started," he said. "If they want their weapon, they'll have to fight for it." Outside, the giant machine opened its mouth, a beam of red light charging inside. Inside the horizon dawn, Asha closed her eyes, whispering the same words once more. "I'm not clean. But maybe I can make things right." And as the first blast fired, the universe itself seemed to tremble. The horizon dawn dove through fire and cloud, chased by the storm and by something far worse, the harvester. It wasn't just a machine. It was a god of steel born from 1,000 dead worlds. Its eyes burned red, its wings cut through lightning, and every movement shook the sky. Inside the ship, alarms screamed like frightened voices. Dr. Lyra Voss gripped the control board, her knuckles white. "Eli, we can't outrun that thing." Eli's jaw tightened. "Then we'll outthink it." "Outthink a machine that eats planets?" she shouted. "Brilliant plan." Asha sat in the corner, glowing faintly, her skin flickering with pulses of blue light. Every time the harvester came closer, her light dimmed, like its presence was draining her life away. She whispered softly, almost to herself, "It's calling me." "It remembers my signal." Eli turned. "You mean it's alive?" "In a way," she said. "They built it to protect the Celian cores. It doesn't understand mercy and only obedience. It believes I belong to it." Outside, the harvester's massive claw reached out through the storm. The ship shook violently as metal fingers brushed the shield. "Shield's at 20%, Lyra yelled. "We're not gonna last." Eli's eyes darted across the controls. "If we can't run, maybe we can hide." "Hide? In what? The middle of a lightning storm?" Eli's lips curved into a grin. "Exactly." He threw the ship downward straight into the densest part of the storm. Lightning cracked around them, blinding white arcs smashing across the hull. Systems flickered, panels exploded, and for a moment the world became nothing but light and sound. But in the chaos, the harvester's signal vanished. "They were invisible," Lyra gasped. "You actually did it. The radiation field's masking our energy." Eli exhaled, leaning back. "Buy us a few minutes. That's all we need." In the corner, Asha shivered, clutching her chest. Her glow was unstable now and fading in and out like a dying star. Eli knelt beside her. "Asha, stay with me." Her eyes fluttered open. "The core. It's waking up," Lyra frowned. "What does that mean?" Asha looked terrified. "It means it's trying to protect itself. When the harvester gets close, the core responds. It will do whatever it must to survive." Eli's stomach tightened. "Even destroy the ship?" She nodded slowly. "Even destroy everything." For a long moment no one spoke. The sound of the storm filled the silence, the world outside tearing itself apart. Then Eli reached out, gently taking her hand despite the burning heat radiating from her skin. "You're not alone this time," he said. "We'll find a way to stop it." She looked at him with trembling eyes. "Why do you care so much?" "Because I made you," he said softly. "Even if I didn't know it." She stared at him, her light flickering softly. "Then you're my father?" Eli hesitated. "No, not father. More like the mistake that led to something worth saving." Asha smiled faintly, the first real smile he'd ever seen from her. "Then I'll try to be worth saving." Before they could speak again, a blinding flash tore through the storm. The harvester had found them. Its voice thundered through the radio, deep and metallic, vibrating the walls. "Unit 13 detected. Return the core. The experiment must be cleansed." Asha's face went pale. "It knows my designation." Lyra whispered, "It's communicating directly with her frequency." Eli slammed his fist against the console. "No one's taking her." He turned to Lyra. "Can we send a decoy signal?" She blinked. "Maybe. If we link it to the reactor, we can mimic her energy signature." "Do it. Make it think she's somewhere else." Lyra worked fast, her hands flying across the console. "Almost there. Done." Asha suddenly cried out, clutching her chest. "No, stop. You're hurting it." "The core?" Eli asked. "No," she whispered. "Him, the harvester. It's feeling pain." Lyra froze. "Machines don't feel pain." Asha shook her head weakly. "He does. They gave him a piece of my mind, the part that could feel. That's why he hunts me. He wants his soul back." The words chilled the air. Outside, the harvester screamed, a terrible, metallic roar that shook the sky. Its wings folded inward, energy crackling like lightning veins. It wasn't just hunting. It was bleeding, Lyra whispered. "Eli. It's reacting to her emotions. The stronger she feels, the stronger it becomes." Eli looked at Asha. "Then we need to calm it, not fight it." He knelt in front of her again. "Asha, listen to me. Whatever connects you to, break it. Remember who you are. You're not theirs anymore." Tears of glowing light streamed down her cheeks. "I can try." She closed her eyes, breathing slowly. Her body stopped flickering. The hum of the core softened in a steady calm. Outside, the harvester slowed its pursuit, its red eyes dimming slightly. Then, in a voice that was both human and machine, it spoke again. If you are no longer mine, prove it. The harvester's chest opened, revealing a swirling core of light, like a miniature sun. It was preparing to fire. Eli's heart pounded. Brace for impact. Asha's eyes snapped open, glowing brighter than ever. No, this time. I'll protect you. She rose from the floor, her entire body blazing with light. Half human, half star, and in that moment she looked like a goddess of fire. Then she flew straight through the hull and into the storm. Outside the horizon dawn, the storm cracked open like a living ocean of fire. Asha burst through the ship's hull in a beam of blinding blue light. Her body no longer obeyed gravity. Energy lifted her, wrapped her, turned her into something beyond human. Eli and Lyra stared through the viewing glass as she rose into the sky. She's flying, Lyra whispered, almost in awe. Eli's throat tightened. No, she's becoming. The harvester loomed above her, a shadow against the stars, its wings spreading wider than mountains. It opened its chest, revealing the swirling red core that pulsed like a second sun. Asha hovered before it, her small figure glowing brighter, her eyes fierce yet sorrowful. Unit 13, the harvester thundered. Return to Origin Protocol. Her voice, soft but steady, echoed through space itself. I am not your unit. I am Asha. The machine hesitated, its great engines rumbling. Then, like an angry god, it fired. A red beam tore through the sky straight toward her. Eli shouted, "No!" Though she couldn't hear him. Asha lifted her hands, light erupting from her palms. The two beams collided, red against blue, and for a moment the universe turned white. The shockwave hit the horizon dawn so hard it spun out of control. Consoles exploded, alarms screamed. Lyra struggled to steady the ship, shouting, "We can't take another hit." Eli didn't answer. He could only watch as Asha's tiny glowing shape vanished inside the storm of light. Outside, energy twisted and folded upon itself. The harvester's voice grew distorted. Error, signal interference, core conflict detected. Inside the blinding light, Asha found herself drifting in silence. The stars were gone. Only endless white surrounded her. Then she heard a voice, not the harvester's, not Eli's, but something deep within. You were made to destroy, it said. Why do you resist? Asha realized it was the core speaking, the living energy inside her. She whispered, because I don't want to hurt anyone. Pain is protection, the core replied. Without destruction, there is no peace. No, she said softly, shaking her head. Without mercy, there is no life. She placed her hands over her heart, and for the first time, the light obeyed her instead of her creators. Back on the ship, Lyra gasped as all readings went blank. She's gone. Energy signature had completely vanished. Eli refused to believe it. She's not gone. She's changing the rules. Then suddenly a new light appeared in the storm. Gentle, blue, and expanding outward like a heartbeat. The harvester stumbled back as its armor cracked. It sounded almost afraid, impossible. Organic control detected. Asha's voice echoed across the comms. You took their souls and buried them in metal. You made them forget who they were. I will free them. Her body burned brighter, her hair now pure light, her skin like living glass. The harvester fired again, and again, but each beam melted harmlessly into her aura. Inside the horizon dawn, Eli stared in disbelief. She's absorbing its energy, Lyra whispered. She's rewriting the laws of the core. Asha raised her hands, and from them poured thousands of glowing threads, streams of light that reached into the harvester's body. One by one, its red lights flickered out, replaced by soft blue. Rest, she whispered. You don't have to obey anymore. For the first time in centuries, the harvester stopped moving. It lowered its head, almost like bowing, and the storm around them began to fade. Eli exhaled in relief. She did it. But his relief lasted only seconds. Lyra's eyes widened. Eli's, look at the readings. Her energy is spiking beyond control. Outside, Asha floated motionless. The light around her had grown unstable, expanding in violent pulses. She looked down at the ship, at Eli, and smiled sadly. Her voice trembled. Eli, the core is breaking. I can't contain it much longer. There has to be a way, he shouted. There is, she said softly. But it means I go where it can't hurt anyone again. No, he cried. You're not dying for them. Asha's smile deepened, peaceful now. Not dying, returning. Then she whispered the words that had once haunted him but now sounded like forgiveness. I'm not clean, but I'm free. With that, her light erupted into a sphere that swallowed the sky. Every sensor on the horizon dawn shut down. Every star went silent for a heartbeat, and when the light finally faded, Asha was gone. The harvester's body drifted lifeless through space, its core dark, its voice silent. Eli sank to his knees, staring at the empty sky. Lyra whispered, She saved the galaxy, Eli. He didn't answer. He only whispered her name. A prayer lost among the stars, but far beyond the wreckage in the quiet void, a single spark of blue light floated on, faint but alive. Silence. For the first time in days, the universe around the horizon dawn was quiet. No storms, no voices, no war machines. Captain Eli Ward stood before the shattered viewing glass, watching the wreck of the harvester drift among the stars. Its red eyes were dark now, its massive wings broken and still. The galaxy's greatest weapon lay dead, and so did the girl who saved it. Dr. Lyra Voss stepped beside him, her face pale under the dim emergency lights. She's gone, she whispered. Eli didn't answer. His eyes were fixed on the void, where a faint blue spark still floated far away. The last trace of Asha. He had seen her vanish in a burst of light, but his heart refused to believe it. Something inside him whispered that she wasn't truly gone. Lyra touched his arm gently. You did everything you could. Eli's voice was rough. No, she did everything I couldn't. For a long time, neither of them spoke. The ship drifted in silence like a ghost. Outside, the last fragments of the storm shimmered and died away. Finally, Lyra broke the quiet. The galaxy will never know what happened here. Eli nodded slowly. That's probably for the best. They wouldn't believe it anyway. He turned from the glass, walking toward the med bay where the damaged systems blinked weakly. Every sound reminded him of Asha's voice. The soft way she said his name. The way she whispered, I'm not clean, like it was a confession and a curse. But when he passed the main console, something unexpected happened. The ship's sensors flickered once, twice, and then a soft chime echoed through the room. Signal detected. Lyra spun toward the monitor. That's impossible. All transmissions were dead. Eli's heart jumped. Where? She stared at the data. Coordinates. Directly below us, inside the harvester's remains. Without a second thought, Eli ran for the airlock. Eli, wait! Lyra called. The radiation, I don't care, he snapped. If there's even a chance, I have to see. Moments later, his suit lights cut through the darkness as he stepped onto the floating ruins. The harvester's body was like a mountain of twisted metal, frozen in the silence of space. He followed the signal deeper inside, moving through giant tunnels of melted steel and broken circuits. The deeper he went, the stronger the glow became, a soft blue radiance pulsing like a heartbeat. And then he found it. A small sphere of light hovered in the center of the rack, humming gently. Inside it, a shape floated, fragile, faint, almost human. Eli's breath caught. Asha! He reached out, his hand trembling. The sphere pulsed in response, glowing brighter. A voice echoed softly in his helmet, not loud, but warm and familiar. Eli, I told you. The core doesn't die. It changes, he froze. Asha, is that really you? Her voice was faint, like wind through water. What's left of me? I gave everything to stop the harvester. But the light, it stayed. He wanted to cry, but the tears froze before they could fall. You're still alive. I can bring you back. No, she whispered gently. This isn't life anymore. It's something else. I can feel them, Eli. All the minds they trapped inside the machines. They're free now, they're at peace. Eli's throat tightened. And what about you? Don't you want peace? A soft laugh came through the static. Maybe someday. But not yet. The galaxy is broken, Eli. The cores are still out there, other children like me. I can feel them calling. Lyra's voice crackled through the comm. Eli, energy levels are spiking. You have to get out of there. Asha's voice grew fainter. You need to go, Eli. The core inside me will collapse soon. If you stay, you'll die too. I can't just leave you again, he whispered. Yes, you can, she said softly. Because you're clean, Eli. You always were. Those words hit him like lightning, a reflection of her first confession, now turned into forgiveness. He reached toward the light one last time. I'll find you again. I promise. You already have, she whispered. The sphere began to fade, breaking into countless sparks that scattered into space. One drifted past Eli's helmet, glowing softly before dissolving into starlight. When he returned to the ship, Lyra helped him out of his suit. He looked exhausted but calm, like a man who had seen both heaven and hell. She's gone, Lyra said quietly. Eli shook his head. No, she's everywhere. Outside the window, the blue sparks spread across the void, thousands of tiny lights drifting into the stars. They looked like seeds of something new, something alive. Lyra watched in silence. What happens now? Eli smiled faintly. Now, we follow the light. And somewhere in the endless dark, a faint whisper echoed. I'm not clean, but I'm free. 3 months had passed since the battle with the Harvester. The Horizon Dawn floated quietly through the outer rim of the galaxy, carrying only 2 living souls, Captain Eli Ward and Dr. Lyra Voss. Most days, the ship felt too quiet, too empty. The galaxy believed the Harvester was destroyed by a collapsing sun. No one knew the truth, that it had been stopped by a girl who wasn't supposed to exist. Eli hadn't slept much since then. Every time he closed his eyes, he saw her face, silver eyes glowing softly, whispering, I'm not clean. He heard her voice in the static of the comms, in the hum of the engines, even in the stars outside the window. But lately, something had changed. The stars themselves looked different, brighter, softer, almost alive. Lyra noticed it first. Eli, have you seen this? She asked one morning, pointing at the navigation charts. He leaned over the console. What am I looking at? The stars are moving, she said. Not orbiting, shifting. It's like they're following a pattern. He frowned. Show me. She zoomed in on the readings. Across dozens of systems, blue light was appearing. Faint at first, then stronger, like constellations forming in real time. Eli's heart began to race. That's her light. Lyra turned slowly. You think Asha's behind this? I know it. Outside the ship, a soft hum filled the void. It wasn't mechanical. It was musical, almost like a heartbeat traveling through the stars. Then the comms crackled, static, and through it, a voice. Eli, he froze. The air left his lungs. It was her. Asha, he whispered. Is that really you? Not as before, the voice said gently. The light spread. I became many. I can see everything now. Every core, every machine, every world that forgot what it means to feel. Lyra covered her mouth in shock. She's everywhere. Asha continued, her tone full of warmth and sadness. The galaxy is waking up, Eli. The machines are dreaming. But something else is coming. Something older than the Harvesters. I can't stop it alone, Eli clenched his fists. Tell me what to do. You can't fight it, she said softly. But you can remind humanity what it forgot, compassion. The same thing that made you save me. Lyra frowned. Asha, what is coming? There was a pause and then a whisper like wind through stars. The architects, the ones who made the first cores, they've been waiting for the light to return. Now they know it has. Eli's stomach tightened. Then they'll come for it. I'm for you. Yes, she said. But I won't run this time. The comm went silent for a moment, then flickered back to life. Eli, I left something for you. A code hidden in the ship's heart. You'll know when to use it. When you do, don't look back. Asha, wait, he said, his voice breaking. But the signal faded into static. Lyra turned to him. What did she mean? Eli looked toward the glowing control core of the ship. We're going to find out. They opened the ship's central processor, and there, carved into the data stream, pulsed a pattern of light shaped like Asha's symbol. When Eli touched it, a hidden message appeared. If the architects come, they will cleanse everything. But inside every human heart lies the same spark they fear, the power to feel, to forgive, to love. That's what keeps the light alive. Eli stared at the message for a long time. Then he smiled faintly. She left us hope. Lyra whispered, maybe she was never a weapon. Maybe she was a message. Outside, the blue constellations brightened, linking across the sky like veins of living fire. Every planet, every moon began to shimmer, as if the stars themselves were breathing. The ship's sensors flared. Incoming objects detected. Hundreds of signatures, vast, cold, ancient. Lyra's eyes widened. The architects. Eli stood tall, watching the approaching lights. Then let's show them what their creation became. He placed his hand on the control core, and Asha's code responded, wrapping the ship in the same gentle blue light that once surrounded her. Outside, the galaxy seemed to pause. Holding its breath, Eli whispered, "You said I was clean. Asha, let's prove you were right." The horizon dawn ignited in a burst of light and shot forward into the sea of stars, straight toward the approaching unknown. As they vanished into the brightness, a familiar voice echoed faintly through the cosmos, soft, almost like a prayer. "I'm not clean, but you are, and that's why you'll save them all." Then the stars shifted again, forming a glowing trail, the path of Asha's legacy. Humanity would follow it. The machines would awaken, and across the endless dark a new dawn began, born not from war, but from mercy.